Okay, hi everyone. Yes, I am Vicnesh Pannir, 23 years old. I work as a gardener and I also do a bit of comedy these days and a few other things on the side. Um, and yeah, I think it's great to be here. It's really nice that you'll have this talk.
Thank you so much. We're so honored, and what I really like about you is your positivity. Despite your young age, and whenever I have a conversation with you, I can't help it. But think of talking to someone who's much older than what you are. What you really are, and
Thank you.
and perhaps that's how we connect. Because while you're young at age, you're full of experience.
Yeah.
Today's topic is about resilience, and the first question we have for you is, what does resilience mean to you?
Well, for me, resilience, honestly, it's consistency of not giving up. Just going and trying new stuff, whether it's something new or something you really want to achieve, and then trying to figure out a way of how to do it. I think the whole resilience comes in play where, especially like when we know what we want, like we know we want to achieve a certain goal, but then we just can't find the way. I think a lot of people get like unmotivated, and then after they just lose the interest. I think that's where resilience comes in. You constantly still say, hey, you know what, there's still a way. I'm going to try something new. I'm going to try a different process. And that's big thing for resilience, what resilience means to me especially. Yeah.
Stories, perhaps, in the past or recently, that you had to be resilient in your life.
Yes, actually, this is what I'm interested to share. So, I so part of my background was previously I was working in a logistics company. I was working as an assistant manager. It was a really good job, but I didn't like it, and then I left. And there's a whole backstory to that, but it's probably a story for a different time over the series. And after that, I started doing gardening because I used to be a gardener back then, and then I went back to doing gardening because I felt it was really nice, and I still wanted to do something more. I wanted to help more people and everything. And recently, I actually got into doing comedy, and I started making videos and stuff online on TikTok, and then that got me into doing stand-up comedy. And then my first time I went up on stage for the first ever time, I did a open mic session for like 5 minutes, and it was really bad because I had prepared the whole script and everything and what I wanted to do and what I was going to say, and then I written all those things down on a paper, and I left my house. I went to the place I was going to perform, and I opened my bag. I realized the whole book was still at home, and so now I had nothing, and I was like, oh gosh, I barely remember what I was going to say. And I went out on stage. I did this really awful set, and it was my first time. But a lot of people still came up to me and said, "Hey, it's still not bad for your first time." But in my head, I was like, "Oh, this is so bad." And then I realized, like, the second time I was going to go out, I was like, "Okay, you know what? Instead of putting all these like so much big emotions and thoughts and everything, right? Why not just go up and then be you, just be yourself?" And then the second time I went up, right, I didn't actually prepare anything, and I was able to come up with a lot more better jokes, and I just able to connect with everyone who was sitting around me, and it felt so cool. I was like, "Oh, well, that was a process that works." And I think it was the different how resilient played a part was that after my first set, I was a bit upset, but then I was like, you know what, just give it another go. If it goes bad, what's the worst that could happen, right?
Thank you for sharing that, never giving up, right? As
Yeah.
what you've mentioned earlier, just keep going. And what could be the worst? And I heard something really interesting about being yourself. And I just wanted to sort of sidetrack, the word authentic comes into my mind. Being authentic, being yourself. And I just wanted to hear your views as a young person. What does being authentic mean to you?
Oh, okay. I like that you brought that up because I've had that word complain in my head as well a few times this period recently. And I like to, for me personally, I like to just like be authentically me because I make videos and everything, right? And I connect with people, and I feel like the most genuine way to connect people is to just be me, to be authentically me, and people will be like, oh, actually he's a nice person to hang out with, and or like he's a nice person to connect with, and then it builds a comfortability, which I feel is a very strong platform for building something strong, whether it's a friend or a person or even with ourselves.
Definitely. Thank you so much for affirming what authentic means. And I'm just wondering, how does that link back to the word resilience, about being authentic and resilient? What comes into your mind? Yeah.
Authentic and resilient, the one thing that comes into my mind is really, like I say, being myself. Because previously, when I was in logistics, I was in this, like I told you, I was in this huge chase. I was always chasing, like, oh yeah, I want to become the next manager. Oh yeah, I want to be earning this much. Oh yeah, I want this, I want that. And then when I took a step back, because I was really, really unhappy to a point where I was like, something needs to change. And then that was kind of where I took a step back. How do I explain? I looked at myself instead of looking at everything that I wanted. And I asked myself what I wanted for myself. And it was kind of becoming myself and showcasing who I am over who, everyone expects me to be.
Wow, thank you for that, Vicnesh. And thank you for your time and valuable insights of sharing. I particularly enjoyed the part about being authentic and then taking one step at a time and breaking it down. And we hope to see you again. And if there are any last parting words for people out there?
Thank you for listening. I hope you guys were able to gain something out of this. It's been awesome being here.
All right. Thank you so much, Vicnesh, and we'll see you again for sure.
Sure.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.